DCM Works, yet another episode where David gets mad. This episode is brought to you by our sponsors over at Patreon, patreon.com/DCMworks if you want to if you want to help support us. Special thanks, I can't speak today, to Brendan A. McQuaid. This podcast is also powered by hover.com. They make it super easy to register the domain you've always wanted. You can use our link to grab $2 of credit when you sign up or transfer a domain. That's hover.com/UTTCLSPB. Or you can grab that link in the show note. I honestly do recommend them. They're so much better than domain.com. Like, they have an interface that I can actually use. It's not some shitty, bargain bin website template that they've bought. You log in to Hover, and it's so fucking easy compared to everyone else. So I really recommend it. And if you want to get that sweet $2 off and help out the show, that link is in the show notes. But as always, I will see you guys in the episode. It was probably a song that reminded me of it, or I'd done an Arnold Schwarzenegger voice.
Writing is definitely an isolating thing.
From an outside perspective, that's weird as fuck.
It makes us look really mental.
But that is
because of what it kind of said about art.
I had fun in bits. There were fun bits.
We went and bought a value pack of straps.
Oh my god, we did. There's a big lesson here to learn about storytelling. Hey guys, welcome back to the Off-Roaders podcast, official podcast of Digital and Creative Media Works. My name is David, DCM, Creative Director, Lead Writer, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Ben.
Are we still talking about this fucking movie?
I know.
Like, why?
I know. And today we're talking about the meaning of Batman vs. Superman.
Consider this mercy. Tell me. Do you bleed?
So the way that I basically wanted to talk about two things. Well, all right, two things first of all. But so whatever you think of the film, if you loved it, that's fine. You're wrong, but you're allowed to love it. You're allowed to love it. Actually, some people enjoyed it. I'm glad. Actually, let's just say this.
Can we talk about the trailer for the
what? Huh?
The super version that's coming out, like the extended.
The ultimate, yeah. We'll have that's it.
Diamond encrusted shit is still just shit.
Whatever. I don't want to think about it. But so, God, yeah. I'm actually glad that people enjoyed this, because that's one of the things that people don't get to do a lot. Like, if you really enjoyed this, I'm glad that someone did, because it's always nice when someone gets enjoyment out of something. That's good to me. But I wanted to talk about... That was like me trying to defend the film a little bit. So what I wanted to talk about is the problem with this film, and also the problem with Superman as a character, and the problem with Batman as a character, which is why this film doesn't work, aside from all the other problems. But it's not really the film's fault, it's just Zack Snyder misinterpreted the answer to these problems.
It's also just because Zack Snyder.
He's really good at... he's got a really good skill set when it comes to... He makes very, very good visual film, but he's not... He doesn't excel in every... No, but it's true, like, he doesn't excel in other areas. Whereas someone like Guy Ritchie is an amazing storyteller, but has no talent for visuals. So, like, you kind of get... But so, the basic premise of the two characters... So, Batman is a character who doesn't kill people, and the reason he doesn't
kill people?
No, well, the reason he doesn't is that, theoretically... He's this is the problem. So he's like the world's best detective, right?
Yeah.
So every time he solves a case, he's always right. He's like 99.9% right.
Yeah.
In the comics, right? So there's, hypothetically, if he was our court system, he would always be correct. So that's when you could probably use the death penalty and be safe, because, there's only like a 0.01% chance that you're going to kill an innocent person, right?
Yeah.
Those are pretty good odds if it's like that, or let the Joker...
You can just outlaw capital punishment, which has a 0% chance of killing an innocent.
But if you lived in a world where you had a character, if you had a Batman who could literally give you up to that percentage of certainty that person was guilty, someone like the Joker, if you then just lock him away like Batman does, after about the third time, you'd be like, no, we just need to kill him. He's killing like hundreds of people.
Yeah, that's true.
But because we don't live in that world, capital punishment is bad, right?
Yeah.
But in their world, there's no real reason why Batman shouldn't kill the Joker if every time he is... And we are 110% certain the Joker's guilty of all these crimes. We see him do them.
Yeah.
Batman sees... Like, it's not like, what if it's the Joker? No, we see him do it.
Yeah.
So, he should kill him. But the reason Batman doesn't is because the kind of person he is, his parents were killed when he was an orphan, so he doesn't he thinks that death is like that's like a bad way to deal with the problem, right?
He's just a bitch, is what he is.
Well, he's a hot mess,
Yeah.
right? Like he genuinely he's sort of in the Tony Stark realm of like being a genuine he's an alcoholic, well in the latest incarnation.
Yeah.
He's an alcoholic. Well, actually, not the latest. There's only been one issue of that, but they just rebooted the whole universe again in the comics.
Oh, that's good.
It's actually really good. For one, well, New 52 is good, whatever. But so, comics are fucking dumb. But so the problem with that character is that you get this character, like, he's a hot mess. He's an alcoholic. He beats on thugs for basically his own enjoyment. And the one thing he could do to save lives, he refuses to do, right?
Yeah.
That would probably fuck you up. Like, if you're Batman and you know 110%, let's say in his mind, he's always correct. Because he is the perfect detective.
Yeah.
He could, in that world, kill anyone and probably be justified if he kills the right people for the right reasons.
Yeah.
So say it's like like you become a Batman in this world, presumably, if you get obsessed with
I
anything.
become the Batman.
Well, no, but if in this world, if you get obsessed with any one thing for long enough, you just become that villain. Like if you really like penguins, you become a penguin, or if you like staples, you become like Staple Man.
Staple
That's pretty much how that world works, right?
What would Staple Man's like?
Well, I assume.
Would he just make every staple do that annoying thing where it bends at the leg and doesn't go all the way
Well,
through the paper?
I assume he'd have like staple that are guns, but he'd also like the confrontation with Batman would be that he would like staple, like he'd have like a giant staple gun, and he'd staple someone as like a prisoner, on top of what I assume would be like a giant building that looks like a report paper.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, "Come and
In
get
the
me,
corner.
Batman!" And
Yeah.
the Batman would swing up and he'd be firing staples and shit. But that idea of you have a villain and you'll say you kill two people as Staple Man.
Sure.
And Batman is the world's greatest. He knows you did it, and he knows you'll do it again because you've been in jail once and you broke out. You killed again, and he's like, "I know you're gonna keep killing people."
Yeah.
The onus is then on him to actually kill you because he knows you've done it, 100% certainty. But
Yeah,
he doesn't.
He doesn't.
But in that world, he should. So what Zack Snyder did is he went, "Oh, that's true. Batman should kill people." Instead of what you should do, which is go, he should, but Batman is a flawed enough character that he doesn't. But also, that makes up part of his morality. It's why him and Superman work really well, is because Superman shares that belief,
Yeah.
right? But Zack Snyder was like, "Nah, what if he just did the thing where he killed guys?" So the problem now is you set up a universe where next time Batman meets Joker, why doesn't he just shoot him in the face?
Yeah.
Because he should, because that's the world they live in, because it's a bad characterization of Batman. Now, that's not to say it can't work, because you can have a Batman who kills people, but it can't work in the world that they've been building, because you just paint yourself into a corner.
Yeah.
So, then on the flip
So
side...
it's the same shit where it's the fight at the end where he's fighting Superman and he's like... He's being all just like, "Oh, I'm going to gas him with the kryptonite gas." It's like, why don't you just throw the spear? Why don't you just throw the spear?
Well, beyond that...
And just kill him immediately.
Beyond that, after this first grenade, Superman should be like, "Oh, those are kryptonite grenades, better break the grenade launcher," but he doesn't.
He doesn't. And,
And
also, Batman continues... He doesn't use, like, any other grenades
Well,
after
no,
that.
the thing...
He uses, like, 2 grenades total.
But this is the thing, though, is this... And I'll get to this in a minute. We talk about
So why does
Superman.
Batman have grenades?
Because it's a reference to a comic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's another
That's
big
a really
problem.
obnoxious
That's another
reference.
big problem with that film. But basically, what happened was Zack Snyder saw about 8 panels of The Dark Knight Returns and went, "Yeah, I can do that."
Yeah, that's cool.
And then he went, "Oh, but what if Batman killed people? Because that would make sense in this world." And it does. Don't get, he's right, but that's a bad characterization of Batman.
Yeah.
You've built an uninteresting character, which is, But so that comes back to the Superman problem as well. So there's basically, that's the Batman paradox, is that if you were Batman in Batman's world, you should be enacting on capital punishment because you're the world's greatest detective. You have a very, very, almost a 0% chance of being wrong.
Yeah.
So in that world that isn't our own, I'm not endorsing capital punishment, you should kill the Joker, right?
Yeah.
So Zack Snyder is, I get where he's coming from, but he's just missed, he's gone like, boom. And
He's
missed the
wrong.
mark. He's a little wrong. So the flip side of that is that the problem with Superman that they actually explore in the world's worst Superman film, Superman Returns, is that Superman should theoretically, if he has the power, always save everyone. Which he does. He's a very quick...
He tries, yeah. He's...
No, but he doesn't, because he sleeps, and he reads a newspaper, and he has relationships, and he... So the problem with Superman, and this is what Zack Snyder was... Again, this is
He
where
was
Zack
getting at
Snyder's-
that in the film, yeah.
But the problem with that is it's fucked. So let's think about this, right? So you've got a Superman.
Yeah.
It's also a great idea, but the problem with it is doing it rips the mythos apart. That's the issue, and that's what happened. So you have a Superman who is We open the film. He's been awake for 42 hours. He saves everyone every opportunity he can. He has no life outside of because he should be. If the idea is it's the greatest good is the most utility for the most people. He should be saving everyone every second of the day that he can.
Yeah.
42 hours. He hasn't slept. He just wants to go to bed. But he can't because there's
saving to do.
There's a robbery somewhere, or someone's falling off a bridge, so he's out there saving them, going at it. That's when you get a Superman who is like the one we saw in Zack Snyder's universe, who everything is a fucking chore for him. Everything, he's just dour and sour, and it's a fucking chore. But that's not what is good about Superman. That's a fun one-off comic, sure. But like, Superman's fun because he can save everyone, but you know what? He just wants to be a normal guy. He just wants to, he's like, I just want to have a girlfriend and an apartment, and I really like coffee and doing my job, going to work, being a journalist. I enjoy that, so I do that instead of saving everyone 24/7.
Yeah.
Whereas in that film, she was like, well, you don't have to save everyone, so, it's a hassle. Mark Kent, she's like, you don't know this world thing. But then he goes, oh, I guess I don't, so everything I do for them is like, oh, it's a fucking chore.
Yeah.
So you kind of you basically have Zack Snyder misinterpreting both paradoxes of the characters, and what happens
at the same time.
So you get a Superman who doesn't want to save people.
You get a Batman that kills people.
And you get a Batman that also doesn't want to save people
and kills people.
Well, yeah, but that's so the problem with
not the main issue.
So the problem with Superman is that he could save everyone, right? But he chooses not to. So he's effectively complicit in killing people when he is reading a newspaper or having coffee with Lois.
Sure.
Or sleeping.
Yeah.
He's complicit in killing, right? In the same way that Batman is complicit in killing when he doesn't shoot the Joker and locks him in Arkham knowing that he'll escape.
You know what this movie sounds like?
What?
Civil War.
It's a similar idea. It's a similar idea.
Do it properly in Civil War.
Actually, yeah, it's actually kind of a similar idea. Well, Tony Stark and Bruce Wayne are very similar characters. They're both these kind of hot messes.
I'd say Tony Stark is more similar to Superman.
I disagree. So here's why. I'm just gonna move on. But here's why. Okay.
Just damn me like oh.
Well, here's why. So Tony Stark is this guy who he was
an arms dealer.
He was an arms dealer, so he gets captured.
He had a job in killing people.
Yeah, so he gets captured. He has this life-threatening experience, and then he puts himself in a position where he is in these combat situations. He has no training to deal with, not just physical training, but mental. Captain America has been through the army. He's been in Nazi Germany. He's got this sort of this brain of a soldier that he's trained and developed with, right?
Yeah.
He's prepared. He knows what killing does to a person, but he's trained to deal with it. Iron Man, however, Tony Stark, suddenly he goes from being this, he has this reversal of heart, and he starts to make these Iron Man suits help save the world. Suddenly, you've got this guy who was a terrible person, just a playboy philanthropist. He's in no way built to deal with the real world.
Yeah.
Suddenly has the power of life or death. He's killing people. He's saving the world. He's doing these crazy things, but he doesn't have that structure, that training to understand how to process it. And so suddenly you've got this guy who is just really has no idea what he's doing, in charge of literally saving the world. Yeah. Several times, super traumatic experiences, like that Chitauri thing where he throws the bomb into space, that would fuck you up.
Yeah.
And he does get fucked up.
Yeah.
But what happens is, when someone says, hey, Tony, this is all of the shit this is what's going wrong, and he goes, yeah, I know, he's this alcoholic hot mess. His wife leaves him, and everyone's like, that sucks, Tone. But, it fucks him up, right?
Tone.
So, he's in this really shitty place most of his, adult life now, and what starts to happen is he goes, well, I am not equipped to deal with this. So what if, there's these Accords are offering to help me regulate myself and help me make the right decisions. I'm not built to know who to save and who not to.
Yeah.
I'd much prefer that people who are more qualified help me do it. So if you think of it like that, Tony Stark is sort of, he's like, I need you to help regulate me, because I don't know what, I've got these suits, and I keep trying to save the world, and the time that I tried to save the world ended up nearly destroying it, so I need someone to help me do this thing that I am not equipped to deal with.
Which I think is why it's kind of more similar to Superman, because it's he wants to save everyone. It's just the reason why he then can't save everyone is different. That's true. Instead of just being tired, he literally just doesn't have the capacity to.
Yeah, he's not built to do it mentally or physically or anything. Actually, you're right. There are big time analogs there, particularly if you think about the way that Superman then he sort of joins and creates a Justice League with Wonder Woman and Batman because he needs other people to tell him when to stop and when to do a thing, and because he has no concept of that anymore because he spends so much time saving people and doing these things. He's like, there's a great run of Justice League where the world kind of really, Batman's there to basically do PR. Yeah. He's the guy that's when they knock down a city by accident, he's like, well, they did it for the right reasons. But Superman has no concept of that because he's like, oh, I had to destroy the alien or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Same thing with Tony where he's like, well, I almost destroyed the world trying to save it, but it was for the right...
I saved it.
Well, yeah, but I saved it, but at great personal cost to me.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting thing about it's a similar paradox where it's like, writing a character like that and getting it right. So like Tony Stark, they get it right a lot. They get it wrong sometimes, but they get him right most of the time.
Iron Man 3.
No, they get it wrong in Iron Man 2. They get it right in Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3, Iron Man
3 was...
They get it mostly right.
Yeah.
They get it mostly right. That's sort of when he starts... That's when he kind of backs... He's slowly trying to back away from trying to save the world.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just a
Whereas Iron Man 2 was that, like, weird pubescent phase.
Yeah, and that doesn't work because...
It was like Spider-Man 2. Like,
it doesn't work because he's a little too excited to be Iron Man, and he shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Like, it's a weird... That film's a weird characterization of the Tony that we get to know, who is this...
It's also just one of the worst Marvel films so far.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah, they just missed the mark on a lot of stuff. But I think Tony's characterization in particular, especially after the events of the first one, he should be sort of...
A lot more timid.
Very timid, and sort of very, like... Being Iron Man is like a big strain on his life. And he is hiding it well. He's got these problems that he's dealing with in the background. But the characterization of him, he's a little too rambunctious and outgoing with his sort of Iron Man persona.
Yeah.
Whereas he should be more like what he is in Avengers 2, where he sort of leads the team, but it's not a role that he really wants to be in.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, we'll send Captain America to do it. I don't want to... Like, this isn't...
Yeah.
And even like his own team, he's like, this isn't something that I can keep doing. We gotta build this other alternative so that someone, the people can effectively decide what is the right thing to do and when to save the world. I don't want to... It's not something I'm equipped with to deal, So that idea is the same as in BVS, where you have Batman, who is this character historically who always knows the correct... He's like the world's greatest... He always knows right and wrong. Yeah. He knows when the person killed the other person, they should be punished. He knows that shit. 100% certainty most of the time. So when you put a character like that up against Superman, who is like, he wants to save everyone, but he actually puts himself before other people because he wants this normal life and to stay sane.
Yeah.
They're kind of opposite ends of the spectrum. That's why they're interesting together. Because you got one guy who sacrifices his amazing, perfect life.
Yeah.
Millionaire, playboy, philanthropist. He's fucking Vicky Vale sometimes. He's fucking Catwoman. He's got this amazing life.
Yeah.
Sacrifices that to go into the streets and help people. And then you've got Superman who sacrifices saving people to have this normal life.
Yeah.
So they're these interesting opposite ends of the analog. What fucking Zack Snyder did, and I get why. This is the biggest problem. I'm not an apologist for the film, but I understand where he's coming from. He goes, oh, well, in this world, Batman is going to be they're going to be very similar. They're going to have these kind of like very atrophied, I don't really want to save people, but I kind of have to because no one else can do it.
Christ imagery for both of them, and you're like,
Instead of what you should do, which is Superman sort of should be this kind of godlike character, and Batman is the guy that goes, yeah, but also check yourself. You don't know what you're doing. You're really irresponsible. You have no idea what it's really like to be a normal person. That's why the Justice League needs to happen, is because you can't have a bunch of gods saving the world. You need the one guy who goes, yeah, but also you can't knock a city down while you do it.
Yeah.
That's why you need Batman. But in a world where both of them act like that, where they're like, nah, kill people to get my job done, suddenly there's no conflict between them that makes sense. So you have to manufacture one.
Yeah.
But the thing, like, so you can see the steps along the way where Zack Snyder kind of accidentally fell down. Like, you can tell that it's kind of like a slow accident, And
but then there's like some very obvious big accidents.
I'm not talking about, well, those are just bad filmmaking.
Yeah.
But the whole conceit of the film, you can kind of see how he kind of accidentally stepping stone himself into a corner. And it's this kind of weird thing where it's not that you want to apologize for how bad the film is, but he's kind of missed the meaning of both of the characters. But you can see how it happened step by step. That's the worst thing, is you can kind of break it down and be like, okay, actually see how he got to the place he got to, and it would have been as easy as literally going to Jim Lee, who is like one of the best. He's working with the best and biggest Batman projects.
Yeah.
Instead of just reading like 8 panels of a Frank Miller comic and being like, hey, is this what Batman should be like in this world?
Yeah.
Or is this what Superman should be like? Really, after Man of Steel, Superman should be like, I'm never killing again. I'm going to do everything in my power to save as many people as I can. Instead, because he snaps Zod's neck, which should be pretty fucking traumatic.
Yeah.
Instead, he's like, oh, well, I'd much rather have this life, and I'm going to be really self-righteous about my journalism and all of this weird shit that makes no sense for his characterization in that world. Instead of that, he should have been like, I'm going to save everyone I can. I'm never going to kill again. I'm going to sort of try and rehabilitate myself to be better. Instead, he just goes, well, I've killed once. Fuck it. And it's just not, that's not the
No
character.
going back now.
There's a great comic panel.
May as well kill them all.
Where, and this is like such a Superman moment. I think Sanspans Radio tweeted it at us a while ago in reference to the review that we did. And it's a panel of it's a girl. It's like a teenage girl on a rooftop. And on one side is Superman. She's standing there and she's about to jump, and Superman lands. And he's just talking to her, and he's just like, "Hey, look, your therapist really did get caught in traffic. You do have value, and there are people here in this world that really care for you." And then he hugs her and kind of talks her off the ledge. He doesn't lift her up and fly her off. He just kind of he makes her feel important and loved.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful little moment in a Superman comic. And then the other side is the Zack Snyder version, which is the girl about to jump on the rooftop, and then Superman goes smashing through the top of the building. She gets like knocked off and dies.
Yeah.
And it's the most, it's so accurate of what those two worlds are like. And the Superman, I mean, that Superman that stands on the ledge, this guy that can like kill gods and rescue people and move faster than like the fucking a bullet or whatever it is, just takes the time to just care about someone.
Yeah.
And that's really what the character is about, is the guy who wants to save everyone, not the guy who couldn't save one person so gives up on saving anyone. It's I just think Zack missed the mark, and it's not his fault, but at the same time, that's what happens when you don't have someone who's in creative control of your universe who isn't involved in the films.
Yeah.
Marvel have their guy. They're like, hey, he goes this, we can't do this because of this reason, because we did that in that film, and it contradicts.
Yeah.
But it's the second film, and it's too early.
Well,
they truly painted themselves into a corner now.
That's the funny thing, because it is so early.
Please stop kicking. It's
Like,
going to come up if you keep
No, it'll be fine.
footing your microphone.
It's like they wasted so much on the second film because they're playing catch up so hard, and it doesn't help that there's so many problems.
Well,
Like in the second film, like they really are gonna like for the next film, if there even is going. Well, I mean there is. They made enough money.
Yeah.
They're gonna make a new one. Like people are gonna hate
well,
it.
they're doing Justice League, and they've got a Batman standalone, and then Wonder Woman looks good.
Oh yeah, Wonder
That
Woman
film
will
looks
be
good. Yeah.
But it's like they really are gonna probably assuming they're smart, they're gonna try to sort of retcon.
Well, they should.
Some of
What they
the
should do is just
decisions
reboot, do a soft reboot within the universe.
Yeah,
Because it's DC, so you can do stuff like Flash.
kind of like a Iron Man 2 kind of thing.
Sort of
Or
more
sort of a soft reboot.
Yeah, like what
Avengers 1,
one of the better
first Captain America film.
Yeah, what you would probably do is you would sort of you would have the Flashpoint Paradox, which is, I think it's a film now, like an animated film, but in the comics basically like there's sort of all these multiple universes and
Yeah, 'cause
and
DC.
And what you would do, well, Marvel do it too, but they're just less good at it.
Well, Marvel don't do it as Marvel just do different points in time.
No, they do multiple. They're not in the films, but they have the worst case of like multiple universe syndrome. In the
It's the
comics.
X-Men thing.
It's
mainly,
the X-Men.
isn't
It's
it?
the X-Men
Yeah.
problem. It's the same problem. There isn't that. Yeah, it's the X-Men problem. So like they have so many different universes within the Marvel universe that it becomes like literally like there's no consequence for anything. So then they reset it so there's one, and then they'll keep. But then there's
Keep
too many people
referencing the
working on
others.
it, so you can
Yeah.
reference other ones because it's like within continuity. But then they'll like make a new one because they need it for this one thing, and then it just like keeps happening.
Just keeps blowing out
They keep,
again.
like,
Yeah.
it blows
Like,
out,
God
and they
damn
get
it,
they get
people.
back in, and it blows out, they get it back. Whereas DC is really good at they just reboot. So New 52 was the latest reincarnation.
Yeah.
But they did it's a soft reboot where characters within the new continuity know about New 52 events, and it's sort of a parallel universe, kind of. So like the Superman in the new one saw the Superman of New 52 die. for instance.
Yeah.
So they know about each other and they're aware there are these multiple worlds.
That's another thing annoying about goddamn
What's that?
BVS. Fucking Superman's death. Yep, second film he dies. You're
Well-
like, cool, thanks.
But but the reason that is the only reason. So the reason that doesn't work. Well, aside from the
Because
fact
it's the second film.
not that no, because that would be a fun upset. It'd be like if you did a Superman film and he died in it. And you
It's not really a fun upset. It's just an
No, no, no.
upset. It's
If
like
we-
Death
no.
of Superman in
No,
the second film.
if it
It's
was
like,
a good,
really?
yeah, but if it was a good film, it would have been interesting. But what?
Yeah, but it's not.
But the reason it's not is because something more interesting for Superman as a character, as a consequence for fucking up, or for not saving a threat, is that idea we talked about before. So that girl actually jumped off the ledge instead of him being able to save her.
Yeah.
And then he would have to catch her, and that for Superman would be like, that's really like awful for him, because he's like,
Yeah.
I couldn't give this person hope, which is what I'm here to do. It's on your fucking chest. That's like his thing. So like, you know, if he accidentally killed someone, like accidentally through trying to save other people, caused some for instance, like in Metropolis.
Yeah.
If that had like, he should be in like PTSD after the first film. But again, we're talking about the fact that he snaps Zod's neck, so he's like, oh, whatever. But if you were going to do that well, what you would do is you would have something happen to Superman that doesn't kill him. That, for instance, in some continuities, like Lois will get killed, or someone he knows will get crippled. It's like the Batman thing when Oracle gets paralyzed.
Yeah.
Well, Batgirl gets paralyzed. That's more interesting than if, like, I don't know, Batman dies. It's like, that's boring. But suddenly, there is an ongoing consequence for your action. Same thing with Superman in that film. Instead of killing him, have like a genuine ongoing consequence. Like, maybe you fuck up and it causes someone you actually care about. Like, maybe Mark Kent gets paralyzed. Or in the comics, like, Papa Kent dies. And it's like, oh, fuck. Like, that's crazy intense, you know?
Yeah.
He has a heart... One of the best ones is he has a heart attack. Some of the best continuities he'll have, because Superman can't save him. So he, you know, he's there in a heartbeat because he hears the heart attack from like across the world.
But he
He's
can't
there,
do shit.
But he can't do anything, and it's like that's the real tragedy of Superman.
Yeah.
Not that he can get killed and then like it just doesn't have consequence because he'll come back. So I think again, it's just that idea of like he's, you know, Zack Snyder has sort of got this idea of, oh, these are some interesting ways we could do these characters, and he's just kind of missed them on the highway of what the characters actually are. And I'm as mad as I am about it. I really want to see what they give. So Ben Affleck is directing the Batman standalone film, which is great for two reasons.
Yeah.
Ben
that's
Affleck
pretty good.
is fantastic
He's
when
a
he
good
directs
director,
himself.
yeah.
But he's even better when he directs himself.
Yeah.
Because everything he directs himself in is fantastic, and he's just a good director in general.
Yeah.
So if that film is good, what will happen is they will give us a reboot in that world. Well, this is what they should do, actually. Is they'll give us a reboot in that world, and then a bunch of Batman standalone films.
Yeah.
It's just Ben Affleck is Batman, because that'd be great. And
Yeah, he's a good
you get
Batman.
like the most iconic storylines, and you do them justice. You do like Under the Red Hood. You do The Killing Joke. You do all these things that are really iconic in the comics that are strong characterizations of this person who doesn't kill people and has this kind of code, and that's what makes him interesting. Not that he'll like that car chase sequence in the film where he sort of there's thugs and he blows up a bunch of cars and they definitely die.
Yeah, they
like,
and then Superman busts his ride. And
see that, and it's like, what are you doing, Superman? Like, just stop, just land at the back and grab the car and hold it till it stops. That's a great Superman moment. Is when someone is driving and suddenly they're not moving, and they turn around and Superman's just there holding their back wheels up.
Yeah,
that's a great fucking Superman
no,
moment.
He just fucking.
But he just bangs it. He bangs the car for no reason.
That was a nice car, dude.
And he also it just doesn't
Also,
make
Batman
sense.
was chasing the guys who had the kryptonite.
Yes.
So it's in Batman's best interest. No, it's in Superman's best interest to let Batman catch them.
And also, he would know that
Or
because
else
he
he'll die.
has super hearing and X-ray vision. He would know whether he would be able to like. It just doesn't. It just misses the mark of the character.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad about it. I get how Zack Snyder made that error, but I don't get how no one else sort of said, hey, not now.
Maybe it was a George Lucas moment.
It might have been
when no one stopped them.
No one was like, well, that's what I was saying. Like there's no one above everyone supervising the whole cinematic universe.
Well, it's not even about someone being. It's just people like with Zack Snyder just saying, "Hey, this sucks shit. You want to change it?"
No one does that. Yeah, no one says it. And you know what? It could be the case that the extended.
Could be that they do say it, and he's like, "No, they'll be fine."
Yeah, well, but he was big enough that he could just be like, "No, fuck off that idea." But it could be a case that the Ultimate Edition is actually a really good film.
No, it won't be.
I know, but it could be the case.
It won't be.
I know, but it could be. It won't, but it could be, and that's I don't know. I want it to be so bad because I fucking love Batman. Like that, it would be. Yeah. How good would it be if the Ultimate Edition was good?
It would be an interesting if if the Ultimate Edition,
I think that's what it's
Super
called.
Edition, I don't know.
The R-rated cut. Basically.
Yeah, if that ends up being good, it'll be at least then it'll be an interesting case study into how editing makes a movie good.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
if it turns out to be like really good with whatever they add back in, it'll be like, oh, good.
Whoa.
What-
You're like,
what?
well, how did they miss the mark the first time
how did
so
they
badly?
fuck this up so
Because-
bad for the M rating?
I mean, it's one of those things where people accuse us. People have accused us
Oh, really?
on Twitter and via email of being very sort of anti-DC in general, which is weird
I
because
mean, because David
I
fucking
grew up on Batman.
David fucking creams himself.
Yeah,
over
dude, I fucking love
DC.
love me some.
I mean, I hate DC, but that's
I
that's
fucking love Batman.
Everyone knows my biases.
But people are like, oh, like, you're so negative about BVS. I wanted it to be good so bad. Like, I want nothing more than more good Batman films.
Yeah.
If I didn't give a shit about Batman, I wouldn't be upset at all. I'd be like,
You also
it's
wouldn't have
whatever. It was a
gone
comic book film.
fucking midnight release and stayed
Yeah.
up till 4 a.m.
Yeah,
doing podcasts on it.
because I love that idea, and people are like, oh, you hate these. No, I'm mad because I love that world and those characters, and it was not a great representation of that.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like that. But yeah, if you want to look into it, I'll put some links in the show notes for the paradoxes of those characters. There's some really good articles on it. I was reading a few nights ago. But yeah, I didn't want that to be too negative. But it's an interesting idea to explore.
Yeah.
We might do some more of these on some other films. Definitely do Civil War at some point because that's some interesting stuff there.
Yeah, it is.
But where can people find us?
Oh, Twitter somewhere. I don't know. DCM_works.
Sure, good, nailed it.
There's a Redbubble somewhere.
Redbubble, all that stuff's in the show notes. If you want to help support us
Facebook.
on
I
Patreon. Yeah, we're on Facebook as well.
on Facebook, yeah.
If you want to give us like a small donation on Patreon, we'd love it. Or check us out on YouTube. All that stuff is in the show notes. But otherwise, as always, we will see you guys next week.
Goodbye.
It was probably a song that reminded me of it, or I'd done an Arnold Schwarzenegger voice.
Writing is definitely an isolating thing.
From an outside perspective, that's weird as
It makes
fuck.
us look really mental.
But that is
Because of what it kind of said about art.
I had fun in bits. There were fun bits.
We went and bought a value pack of straps.
Oh my god, we did. There's a big lesson here to learn about storytelling.